Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It's September 13th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and it's going to be short and sweet today. This we really had a channel that was maybe about 8 points wide, but we spent all day really in the upper half, which is 4 ticks, and 8 ticks is maybe enough room to scalp out, but 4 ticks is certainly not. So. Um, You had to be really choosy. But let me start over here. When I came in, we were going sideways. We actually had this channel coming down. We get a close outside, and we tried to go lower so many times and just couldn't. And eventually, a market that can't go lower is going to try to go higher. It didn't go a whole lot higher, but it did go higher. And notice that you finally got a chance to enter with enough room to get out on this little failed break lower here. And you actually might have considered here, but your signal bar is too bearish, so you can't enter there. This one was very tempting, um, but we were still making lower lows there and lower highs. We actually made a double top then a lower low, so I don't think you want to risk going long at that point. But once it's obvious we're going sideways here with some more support and resistance at these same levels, when it broke lower, and gives you enough room, I like going long right there. And maybe you'll get lucky, and this is the low of the day, and this is going to be a range. That's what it looks like at this point, and when it takes on off, that's really what it looks like. So it was kind of tempting to enter here because we got a failed break higher again, but the way this thing shot through the EMA there and then went right on through the upper side and got above it and is acting as support. And notice when it didn't, you might have still considered this one till this bar here. When this one closes an inside bar and just flip-flopped, and this one's bearish, this one's bullish, and everything's above the resistance area is now acting as support. I'm not going short there, and you shouldn't. You get a lower high here, but that's just a doji. Closed right dead in the middle. So when it broke lower here, it started going down. This is what I really liked. It turns down here, and then it turns and goes right out the other side. I like going long there. You might have tried to draw this line here off of these highs. If you did, then maybe you noticed that one. But you don't have a whole lot to work with there, so you just have to really treat this like another failed break out of this little congestion area, and the fact that it looks a lot like a reversal pattern. So takes off, comes back again here, gives you a nice bullish bar and a third touch off of the trend line, but we weren't back up to the high yet. It's just a first entry. There's a lot of reasons I was a little bit leery of that one. If you took it once it got up here and started going sideways like that, and you got a couple of dojis and stuff in there, I would have just exited. Take what you can get, especially by the time it made a second bar, and because it would have come down and stopped you out and then gone exactly where you expected it to. So, but you got your second entry here. This is the better entry, and this one would have worked. And notice that you came up short, so there's a good chance you might get an overshoot here. So notice that new high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry, and we've been working up, so you're looking for longs really. And quick easy move, and then it gives you a double test of this, plus it makes a new high, nice bearish bar. I like going short right there. And it shoots all the way down here and it bounces here. You get a little trend working up. You get a higher low here. Notice we work up and you get back inside this area right across here. You may not have quite had this midline yet, but it didn't matter. We just pushed through the EMA, and it tries to go lower, and then it closes on its high. Then you get another one, and then yet another one. So you might have let it break high and try to get a little better entry. You probably would have got left behind if you did that. So just go long there, and it eventually works on up. If you did go long right here, it might have scared you a little bit here. So you might have gotten shaken out of that one. If you hung on, it would have worked. And notice you got one leg correction and a second leg. And there's actually a failed second entry short right here that was tempting, but you don't have any room right here. So um, the only way you could have entered was to wait on it to come back. And with it coming all the way back here after a failed break up here, um, you might have it might have been coming all the way back down to here. So I don't think you can take that long. And this is your short. This is your signal bar. You don't really want to go short there. This is an inside bar. Still not a very good signal bar either. So you really can't go short. Then it bounces here, another doji. But then you get a double test. Notice you made this low and then you double tested it. The only problem with going long here again is you don't have enough room to get out. So you might let it break higher and then come back here. This one was tempting, but I just don't see any way you can get in it without with enough room to get out. So I just really put that there more or less just to remember to talk about it. Probably should just make it a different color because I'm not even really giving that a. I'll just give it the magenta color there. I just really wanted to talk about that, and then we kept testing it, but you never have room to get out, and it keeps turning down right there. So, and that takes you right into the 2 o'clock. This is just too tight. You really just don't want to. The only way you can enter. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Let me back up here a minute. The only way you want to enter on this type of day is where you got enough room. You want to enter off the highs or the lows, and really the lows were here most of the from late morning through the afternoon. And so you can only enter long here or short here on, and you got to have enough room. So you need a little failed break lower, or you need a bar where the high is real close to the high or low where you still got room there. And even then, you need a good signal bar. So as an example, you got a great signal bar right here, but you don't have any room. You got 2 ticks there, basically. And then where was the other one? See, here you got a nice signal bar and you got plenty of room. This down here would have been considered because you could have treated this like a failed break lower, but you don't have a good signal bar again. It worked, but you did still, if you'd had a signal bar like this down here, I'd be all over it, but you just don't get one. And all the way across here, you don't get any good signal bars until right here. You got one right here, just like, and it's just like this one. And look, you don't have room, and look what happens. You would have survived that one, but you had to ride it out, and you don't know that it won't tick one tick lower and stop you out. So just remember that. And there was a slight upward bias really from the open today. We were going sideways into the open, and then we had kind of an upward bias because we were trending up, and we did have one more pullback here, but still we're kind of making higher lows across here before it pushed higher. I mean, there's nothing super bullish about that or anything, so don't take that the wrong way. But the bias is slightly up, so there's going to be more longs here. And it seemed like, you know, even if you wanted to go short, there just aren't any setups. This is a very nice signal bar here at 2 o'clock, but again, you don't have room, and it would have bounced on you and you got stopped out. So the key is having enough room on a day like this and getting the right signal bar. Now that's a good signal bar for a short, but the setup is no good. Now that's a good signal bar and a good setup because you got plenty of room, and that's, you tested that area twice. You made your new high after your break here. That's a good signal bar with plenty of room. Where was that? And that's a good signal bar with enough room. So just remember that. That's your key, is having a good signal bar. And people will send me trades all the time, and they'll be like a nice second entry long or something, or a second entry short, and they'll have a, let's just say it's a long, and they'll have a signal bar that looks like that right there, and they'll go long above it, and it'll go a couple of ticks and turn down and stop them out, and they'll send me an email and say, what I do wrong here? Well, your signal bar is 50% of your setup. If you've got a poor signal bar, um, you don't want to take it unless there's some other. And the only time you can really trade with a bad signal bar is on a trap, because that's the whole idea, is to fool you, so the signal bar is not going to look good because it's a trap. So, but otherwise, if you don't have a good, if you're trying to go long, you need a good bullish signal bar. And if you're trying to go short, you need a good bearish signal bar. Or either a real small one like this where there's only 2 ticks. I mean, it's still a nice bearish signal bar, but it's only 2 ticks. So you're not risking a whole lot right there regardless. With the option for a lot of, if you're right, a nice payoff. So that's a low risk for a nice opportunity for a payoff. And notice you could have got a couple of points in a runner there. So, and those are the times when I'll try to get a runner on these failed breaks lower or failed break higher, because that's where they usually generate from. And this one was close, but even if you'd had a good signal bar here, I still don't know that you could take it, because you hadn't had a bunch of bounces right here. It's just the second bounce, and you got this trend line. So, you know, you can't really say, hey, this is a strong support yet, because it only bounced there once more. Notice those are equal lows, double bottom. The other bounces were down here or up here. So you don't you might treat this like a failed break lower if you had a nice signal bar, but again, I still think you're better off to wait on a higher low, which comes here, and you do get a good signal bar. And I'll see people send me a. Okay, I had a little bit of interruption, but I think I went through all the trades, and we're just kind of talking about the day and how you would trade this. So, but I don't think I've got anything else to add. Just remember, you want to try to go long at the lows and short at the highs, and you got to have a good signal bar and the importance of the signal bar. I think we talked about all that. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.